Hi, Murray here. I just want to give you a bit of a greenhouse tour today, but the first segment I want to show you is our Indy 23 system. And unfortunately we're in a situation where we're going to have to close this down temporarily because we've run out of water. Our water hole down the back where we've been drawing water from for the last 15 years I guess, we've now got down to the point where we're just pumping mud out of the bottom. So we've had to start using our tank water, our rainwater from the house, which means that very soon we'll start having to buy water to get water carted in for our greenhouses and for our aquaponic systems. So that's really unfortunate and a sad day, but I guess that's what happens. That's the reality of life. Australia is a country that has fire and flood, and then it has droughts, and this is a pretty big drought, and sometimes you wonder at these things if it'll ever actually rain again, but we know it will. It's just a matter of when. So this morning we've got a charity that comes periodically, about once a fortnight, and take all our lettuce that we grow. So this morning they're going to come and take all this beautiful lettuce away, and that'll leave this bed empty. And over here we've got a whole lot of kale, as you can see, and we're going to leave that hopefully for a few more weeks yet and just minimise the amount of plants that we're feeding water to, because the main usage of the water is the plants. If you don't have very many plants in the system, then you don't need much water. So we're going to try that for a little while by decommissioning this bed first of all, and then just keeping the kale growing. We're not going to plant anything else in these beds, and just keep our beautiful kale growing and see if we can spin it out a little bit. And we'll reduce the amount of fish food, of course, and if we have to, we'll take some of the fish out and distribute them around to other tanks, so we can just minimise the amount of water that this system will use, so we can keep the water requirements down. But hey, have a look at these beautiful lettuce. Aren't they great? They're just really great. The charity will come and get these today. Beautiful cost lettuce. Look at that. Lovely clean roots. You know, the system's running so well, it's just a shame that we have to stop planting stuff in it for the time being. But anyway, they'll go to a charity today, which is a good cause. Now, come up this way. Now, this is the wicking bed, and of course, the wicking bed also requires water. And we've got some beautiful plants here. These are beetroot. You know, we use the small leaves in our salads. We've got some peppers coming along, and we've also got some radish up there and some carrots beyond that. And we're going to keep that running for a while, although we're not going to put any additional plants in it now. There's quite a few bare patches we could plant up, but we're not going to plant them up because of lack of water. So we'll just try and minimise everything in this system. The same with the beds over here. You can see there's one bed here that we've just recently re-gravelled because it was 5 or 6 years old, the gravel in there. So we re-gravelled that. We've actually shut that bed down now. It's not using any water at all. And the bed behind us has got a nice papaya tree in it that we'll wait till we harvest them off. And when they're harvested off, then we'll get rid of that as well. So we won't have to do any of that if it rains soon. Okay, and then further in our Indy 23 system we have this tower system, which are these beautiful grow pockets. As you can see, we've already shut these down. We harvested out of them, so we're not going to replant in them. We've switched these particular towers off. We've only got 2 that are left running, and we're just going to run them until these lettuce, which is about another week, they'll be ready to harvest and send off somewhere. And then we'll shut them down, unfortunately, unless it rains soon. And we really need it to rain soon, believe you me. This is our IABS system, or sand ponics as some people love to call it. So I'll just take you through a bit of a tour of this and we'll show you how it will work. So this is our IABS system, and it's just in its real infancy, and we're running experiments on it. We're really desirous of proving the work of Dr. Mark McMurtry, and he wrote his papers back in, I think, 1984 or 85, something like that, where he made some really amazing claims about how well the system works and the way in which it closes the nutrient gap. Most aquaponic systems do not produce quite enough nutrients to give good plant growth. So this, we're hoping, with the microbiology that should set up in the sand, we should be able to get really good results. Now, we've been actually running it for about 4 or 5 months already, but we've just made some major changes to it, and that is putting in a bigger fish tank with more fish in it, and we now have 150 jade perch in this tank, which are all fairly mature, so we're going to be able to get some good feed rates into it now, so we can try and get the plants to grow really well. But you can see already, have a look at these beans here. Look at these beans, this bean bush. It's just a single bean bush growing in the end of the sand bed. Look at the health of the leaves, look at the colour of them. They're just in beautiful condition and they're flowering now. We've been picking beans off this particular bush now for about 3 or 4 weeks, and we pick a handful of beans every day. You can see them coming on here, look, new little beans. Look at that, beautiful purple beans, plenty of them, and the bush is in such really good condition. Okay, follow me a bit further. We've already had one tomato crop out of this, and we've actually ditched those most of those tomato bushes and planted fresh ones, because now that we've introduced a new fish tank with more fish in it and more control over what we're doing, we want to start off with some fresh tomato bushes. You can see we've planted some little seedlings we've been raising around here, different varieties. We've got some cherry tomatoes, yellow and red, and we've got some large tomatoes like Groslissi, and another one called Mary, and some different ones that we just planted randomly, so that we can see what kind of effect we get out of that, because in reality the test for aquaponics and for any gardener is growing tomatoes. It's fairly easy to grow lettuce, you can grow them fairly easily, and other leafy greens, but tomatoes have a very high nutrient demand. So the trick is to be able to grow good tomatoes. If you can do that, then you can do the rest, no problem. So you can see over here, as part of the test we're doing, we're also running a really nice raft bed off the same water, so we can see if that grows well as an attachment to that, because I think in a commercial situation, if we had IABS System growing our tomatoes and other fruiting plants and providing nutrient for the rest of the system, then we should be able to grow, we think, good tomatoes off it, be able to grow good lettuce and other leafy greens off it. As you can see, these are going quite well. We've actually, in the period of time been running this, we've had actually 3 harvests out of this already that we've sent off to the charity that we support. So these are coming along really well. You can see they're lovely and healthy, and they're doing really well. So no problem in growing lettuce. As I said, they're fairly easy to grow, and other leafy greens, but you can see the condition of them. And one thing I'd like to point out to you is no insects. We've really got our insect control down to a fine art now, and we just love the fact that we've got a really clean greenhouse. Normally by this time of the year, because it's now not officially summer for a couple more days, but we've had extremely hot weather, which is great weather for insects, and normally they would be in this greenhouse munching away and going for their life. But you can see we leave our greenhouses open, we don't close them down because we like a bit of ventilation, and we're in and out so much that we don't try and keep the insects out. But we've got our insect control working really well. Now come with me a bit further up here and we'll see some of the plants. Now this is the other raft bed we've got attached to the IABS system, and you can see we've got some beautiful lettuce growth. These are going to be taken out in the next few minutes. Actually, the charity will turn up to take them away. But I want you to have a look at the basil, or basil as we call it here in Australia. You can see what good condition. Just touch basil, and you get that beautiful aroma that you get in the greenhouse. And I just want to show you a close-up of the leaves of this. Now, believe it or not, that's ever so slightly nutrient deficient, ever so slightly, but not much. But it's really in good condition overall, and once again notice that the plants are so healthy and ready to be taken and put into a tomato pesto or a pesto of some sort. Another, yep. So there we go. Now we've got one more sand bed I want to show you. We've just harvested out of here a whole lot of broccoli, and this is the last bush which is still yet to come to maturity. And we'll harvest that out when it's finished. But I just want to point out these special plants we're growing here on behalf of a pharmaceutical company actually at the moment. And these plants, I can't give you the name offhand because I just can't think of it, but they're said to have some really good health benefits. So we're going to try and grow them here to see what we can do with them and see how well they do grow. Because if they do grow well, it could be a really good crop for an aquaponics farmer to grow and earn a good living off. So that's another interesting thing that we're doing in our sand beds. This entire IABS system is really interesting for a lot of reasons. Now, when we've finally proven it, and we're going to do another 4 or 5 months yet of lab tests, taking leaf samples, sending them off to the lab to find out what's exactly in the plant, and also water samples. We've already done one round of that, but that's before we put the new fish tank in. And when we do that next round of those tests, we'll eventually publish them, and we'll make a segment in our Aquaponics design course where that information will be shared with our design course students. And I think this sand bed system, so far, all indications are it's very, very exciting and a really good thing to do. But we'll see what happens over time. Okay, this is the area we raise our seedlings in, and these are quite advanced seedlings, as you can see. They're well and truly ready to go out into the beds. Beautiful, beautiful lettuce. And look, lots of it ready to go out. We've got roots showing through, so they're ready to go out. And this tray goes right through the middle of this greenhouse, and it's watered on a timer. It's watered 4 times a day for about 10 or 15 minutes, and you can see it works. It's a system that works very, very well. And once again, I want to show you no insect attack on the plants, which is great. we're really happy with the way that's working. This particular greenhouse is our kind of mini commercial system, if you want to put it that way. We have all the elements in here of a commercial system as far as filtration is concerned, distribution tank, pumps, sumps, and all that kind of thing. We have raft beds, we have media beds. So when we bring students here, this is where we teach them about how to design your farm. And of course we cover all that very, very carefully in our face-to-face courses and also on our aquaponics design course, which is online. Here we've got in demonstration mode 2 beautiful little pine kits. We feature this of course in our courses. Dogs having a drink, look at that. Dogs know where to get water. They shouldn't be in the greenhouse area, but this is outside the greenhouse area, and we've got some lovely plants growing here. You can see all the lettuce, you can see some spring onions, and at the back here's a fish tank that's got Murray cod in it. You can see on the trellis there we've got tomatoes growing, and more of those beautiful climbing beans, and some all-weather spinach there. And this plant here in the middle, this is watercress, which is absolutely beautiful in the salad. It's got just a slight peppery taste. Very, very nice in the salad. So this is all the kind of stuff you can grow in your own home systems. This kit is what we call a terrace kit. We used to manufacture these. A bit of luck, we're going to start making them again soon because people are asking for them. So there you go. But look at this mint. Hey, it's really out of control. So much of it. Just a tip. Most people know that have done aquaponics for a while. Don't plant mint in your grow beds unless you dedicate a bed to it, because it just takes over, it gets out of control. We regularly have to get to this and chop it back, you know, get really vicious with it and chop it back to keep it down in size a little bit. Just look how well it grows. And you've just got to touch it like this, and the beautiful aroma that you get is unbelievable. Behind here some more all-weather spinach, some, what do you call those things? Spring onions. Sorry for looking at the for a minute. So come over this way. I want to just show you the aloe vera. Look at this beautiful aloe vera. Now, aloe vera is a desert plant, and you wouldn't think for 1 minute it could grow in an aquaponics system because you'd think there'd be just too much water. But look at the health of this. I'll just cut a piece and show you. If I can find my knife, that is. Here we go. I'll just slice one of these leaves off, and you'll see the beautiful quality of the aloe vera. Have a look at that. Just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely top class product. And you know, aloe vera has all sorts of medicinal uses. Some people say it's good for burns, and I think that's pretty right. But you know, there's all the gel there. Look at that gel. And another thing we're experimenting with right now is actually using aloe vera to help us strike seedlings, etc. Not seedlings, sorry. You know, start again on that one. Another use that's said to be good for aloe vera is to strike plants. You know, when you're doing tissue culture and stuff like that, to actually put it in aloe vera and it sends it off. So we're doing some little experiments with that at the moment to see how we go with that. Now we're in our original greenhouse. This is the one we first started off with, and this fish tank here, 2,500 litre fish tank. We built this 15 years ago from fiberglass. It's still here, still going strong. And these 4 beds in the middle, they're the original beds we've had, and we're still planted up. You can see this massive plant here. That's taro. Now, some of you may not know what that is, but in the South Sea Islands, Hawaii, and all those parts of the world, they just love the stuff. It's actually a root crop. It's a yam. Some people might call it a yam, but you use it in all the same way you'd use potatoes. But it's a little bit tasteless on its own, so we found that if you cook it with a little bit of chili or a little bit of curry or something like that, it can become very, very nice to eat. And guess what? It's very, very nutritious. Really almost a complete food in its own right. So it's well worth growing taro, and as you can see, it does extremely well in aquaponics. And here we have some good old mini cabbages. They're as hard as a rock. We've been harvesting them out a couple every few days to use, and we're down to the last of them now. See on the wall here, we've got more beans. I love beans. Beans are a wonder food, I reckon, and you can just grow them so easily. And behind me here, this is a plant called Keng Kong, which is once again a wonderful salad plant. grows like nobody's business. As you can see, it just spills out over the bed and we just harvest the leaves off that. It goes great in stir fries. And look at the health of the plant again. Isn't that fantastic? Now come further along. I want to show you the eggplants. Look at these eggplants. See in the back there, we've got a rat trap set there because we've got a bit of a rat problem. But these eggplants, look at the flowers on them. And we can see up close here, you'll see that some of them are really starting to bear wonderful fruit. We've already harvested off them actually, but look at those coming along. All these flowers are just going to turn into eggplant. Got more down here. Look down here amongst the leaves, there's more of it. Beautiful stuff coming along. And that's going to be just great. We love that. Makes great lasagna, you know, believe it or not. Eggplant is terrific for that. So let's just have a quick look around the rest of the system. We've got some of the beds here. We haven't planted much in them right now because once again our chronic water shortage. We hope that'll end soon, I hope. And we'll be able to plant these beds up again as much as we normally do. So, there you go. Just look at the papaya tree in the distance. Look at that loaded up with papaya seed up there. And it's going to be really good. We're keeping that tree going with all the water it needs. So there we go. That's our greenhouse tour for the morning. And so you can see what we're doing here at Practical Aquaponics. And all the stuff we do here, growing stuff all the time. We grow it for our own use, to give away to a local charity that we like to support, and also so students can come here and they can see how you can grow stuff so beautifully well. And I hope this morning we've illustrated to you how healthy our plants are, how well they're doing, and it's just prime produce you can produce in an aquaponics system. Oh, but before we finish, come and let's have a look at the fish. And this is a fish tank we've set up so that you can see what the fish look like, because when people come here to visit and see aquaponics, they want to see the fish, but oftentimes you can't because the fish will run and hide at the back of the tank and so on. So we've set this up especially so you can see what jade perch look like. And this fellow down here is a Murray cod, and he's not doing much. That's what Murray cod do. They kind of lie around all the time waiting for someone to go by, and so they can trap them and eat them. But these fish are getting quite used to us being here, and quite used to being looked at and stared at. Yeah, they're lovely fish, beautiful fish. So this one, see the spots on the side? That's a jade perch. This little skinny guy here swimming around here, that's a silver perch. And of course you've got the Murray cod. Okay, so that's what our fish look like in our aquaponic systems here in Australia. There are other varieties of fish, of course, and you can keep pretty much any freshwater fish variety that's local to your area is the ideal thing to do, rather than keep a fish that's some exotic species that might prove difficult for you to keep, and in some instances might even be illegal. So there you go, that's the fish in the aquaponic system here at Practical Aquaponics.